All right. I noticed, and we're going to try to keep the profanity at a minimum because somebody bet me some money that I can't speak without using profanity. And I can speak without using profanity. But when I quote somebody, that's a whole nother thing. Talk about, people have been asking me about one of my videos when I talk about us people, U.S. people. And I can't believe how lazy people are now that they won't do their homework and find out the difference between America and the U.S. USC CFR Title 26, the definitions of the U.S. and a citizen. Title 26 is your tax code.
Right.
So with UFC and CFR basically being the same thing, federal code regulations and United States codes, then, that's the tax code, which has been sort of tweaked and revised. Do your homework. Do your due diligence. I put it out there in a joking manner, and a lot of people ask me about it, but they won't do their homework, which leads me to the sad, saggy, sorry state of our education system and the way people are right now. They want everything basically handed to them. It's like the American people balls just dropped off. They don't have balls. They won't stand up and fight. They just say, oh, it's all good. How is it all good when you being slaved out? You chattel property. How is that all good? I know too many people that's being basically slaved out. Now, if I'm not mistaken, when Bill Clinton was in office, he re-signed the Declaration of Human Rights to last another 50 years. Bill Clinton hasn't been out of office 50 years. And one of the things that it says in the Declaration of Human Rights is all forms of slavery is abolished. So when you have to work for a measly $8.50 an hour, $9 an hour, and you a grown-up paying taxes like gas, water, insurance, car insurance, medical insurance, taxes, all this stuff coming out of your check, you might as well cut your check basically over in half. Over half. $8.50 an hour turns into $4.25 an hour that you're actually bringing home.
There it is.
Think about it. Since you're too lazy to do the work, I did 90% of the work just now for you. Think about it. Slavery, alive, in America. A U.S. citizen not going to understand what I'm talking about. Us citizen not even going to take the time to do the homework, let alone listen to this. By now, listening to this, they done rolled over and went to sleep. But this is truth and this is fact. I've had too many brothers come to me and tell me that they had to do something strange for some change. I'm like, wait a minute, what do you mean? This cat play ball, he lift weights, he got women, and he told me that he had to do something strange for some change. He can get some penis before he can get a meal. I'm like, excuse me, wait a minute. Did you just say what I think I heard you said? You can get, I don't even think I want you to clarify on that. And we just gonna go back to shooting pool and move on. The state of things right now is just that horrendous. I took some people to the shelter here on Tryon Street, North Tryon, and they were enrolling into the shelter. The manager, I ain't going to tell you that he was white, but I will say he was Albion. He looked at me and told me I look like trouble and I need to get out. I'm like, wait a minute, man, I don't even know what your problem is. I ain't said nothing to you or to nobody in here. He was like, if you don't leave, I'm calling the police. He had already called the police on me to prove his point as a supervisor up in there. If I needed a place, if I was enrolling into the shelter on North Tryon Street, I would have had to live under a bridge. This is the state and how people are being treated in the shelter amongst the cross-addicted people up in there, the diseases that's up in there, the treatment, the handlement of some of the people that's up in there. And I'm not saying this by the staff. I'm saying this by other people. It's dog eat dog. I think the United States should really take time and show appreciation for the people, because at this point, with as hungry as people are, with the medical situation totally, from my observation, being ignored, I think that they should kiss the Americans' butts that they're not knocking judges in the head on the way to work, that they're not robbing senators. They haven't marched on the Capitol and just ransacked the buildings, because right now wages are ridiculous. Minimum wage is stuck at 7.25, but your taxes went up. The taxes on your groceries went up. The taxes on your utility bills went up. Your utility bills went up. As a grown-up, male, female, hermaphrodite, whatever you may be, you know $7 an hour, $8, $9, $10 an hour is not enough to go to work, hold your head up high, to feed your children, pay your child support, pay all your utility bills, plus you got to have insurance on everything now. You can't go up and down the street in your car, and it costs almost as much to ride the bus as it do to be in a car. So what are we going to do? I think we need to reach down on the floor, pick up our balls, tape them back into the sack, and say enough is enough. Yeah, the corporate industry can find somebody that's hungry enough to just take a job and say, okay, I'm going to take this $8.50 because it's a start, it's a stepping stone. But after a while on that stepping stone and you haven't forward moved or did anything better, you become disgruntled because you're almost in the same situation. You're robbing Peter, John, Luke, Matthew, and Mark, and Jesus, Yeshua. You're robbing all these people just to pay the tax man. And then after you pay the tax man, you say, Mr. Tax Man, I need a break. I got to feed my kids. And the tax man tell you flat out, point blank, I don't care. Then you start selling drugs, and they say, ha, 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 we got you again. What do you do? What can you do? I say, there's a cartoon that I would like somebody to make. I would like to see a politician feeding a donkey and an elephant bills. And he look up at the donkey and the elephant and say, when y'all pass these bills, make sure we can use it.
There it is.
He speaks. I was nervous for a minute. I thought you fainted or something. I don't know what was going on.
Oh, no, I'm listening and everything. And, you know, when we visited the shelter, you know, one of the things I've dawned on was that, you know, when we helped out and we actually ate, and I noticed that, I don't know if you was aware that the some of the drinks that we had was expired. It was expired by 6 months. I think that's really bad. I think people need to be aware and know, because there's a lot of people out there that needs help, you know. And I was talking to a fellow, won't say his name, you know, but if you're working and everybody experience hard times, have its ups and downs, you know, like the stock market, and in order to get into the shelter, you have to gross less than $1,000. I think that's sad right there. You know, that's sad.
Well, we're going to do part 2, because I try to keep this short and sweet. I don't want people falling asleep, because anything past a certain amount of minutes, which we have went past that, people start listening to something else. I did this because most of the time I try to put humor in here. But sometimes we have to stop trying to be humorous and be straight up.
There it is.